Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my December wrap up and my January TBR. So these are the books that I've read in December. I got through 7, which I'm really proud of myself for that. So yeah, let's get right into them. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Arcana Rising by Kresley Cole. This is the 4th book in the Arcana Chronicles, and I finished this like right at the tail end of December. Finished it on the 30th, and when I finished it initially, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. That was because the ending was just crazy, shocker, and such a huge cliffhanger. Just like all of Kresley Cole's books, they are just huge cliffhangers that just torture you, and you're just like, I need the next book now. Which is why The Dark Calling is on my most anticipated books of 2017 list, as I knew it was going to be a huge cliffhanger of an ending in this one, and I was going to need the next one like right away, and I do. So yeah, that's why initially I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. But then as I thought about it more and more, I kind of bumped it down to 4 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy this one. It isn't my favorite in the series. I do think Endless Night and Dead of Winter are so much better. I love Endless Night and Dead of Winter. I think those are my 2 favorite in the series so far. Arcana Rising was a little bit of a disappointment, but I still really enjoyed it. One thing, it wasn't as action-packed as I thought it would be, especially going into it. The beginning seemed like there was going to be a lot of action in it, but then it wasn't as much action as I thought it would be. It was a lot of Evie traveling, trying to get back to the campsite and find Tess, and it was a lot of her, struggling with what just happened and her having to grieve but then not try to grieve. So yeah, it was different than what I was expecting. And then the other thing was just how Evie and Eric ended up getting together. I was just like, I don't like how they're together, because I feel like he's a consolation prize since Jack isn't around, and I don't like that. I don't like that he's a consolation prize. I really like Eric. I really love his character, and I just don't like how they ended up together. So, kind of for those reasons, I bumped it down to 4 out of 5 stars, but I still really enjoyed it. Again, this is a short one, so I pretty much flew through it. Read most of it in one sitting, so yeah. The next one that I have to show you guys is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Last Olympian. This is the 5th and final book in the Percy Jackson series. I absolutely loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It ended up being on my top 10 books of 2016 list, and I just really enjoyed it. I really love Rick Riordan's books, because his books, they're just so much fun. There's a lot of action, a lot that happens. It's so funny, And there's some twists and turns in here that I'm just like, I wasn't expecting, especially towards the end. I was just like, and with one character in particular, I'm just like, okay, I knew something was up with you, but I didn't know what, and I did not see this coming. So yeah, I really enjoyed The Last Olympian. I cannot believe I waited so long to read this. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next one that I'm going to show you guys is Atonement by Ian McEwan. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it in high school when I read it, and if it was back in high school again, I probably would have given it 5 out of 5 stars. But my reading tastes have kind of changed since high school, because in high school I didn't read much fantasy. I read more, more contemporary, or not contemporary, I guess realistic, set in our world type of books. So yeah, my tastes have changed, and I really love fantasy. So I didn't love this as much as I did in high school, but I still really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I do think it kind of dragged on a bit, especially in the middle. It dragged on, but that could also have to do with the fact that I'm not really a huge fan of stories that take place during the war and you're following the main character who's a soldier. I'm not a huge fan of those type of stories. He kind of bore me. So yeah, that probably has to do with why I felt the middle part dragged on, because the middle part is following Robbie's character, who is in the military, and it's during the war times. So I still really enjoyed it though. Like I said, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was interesting seeing all my notes that I made in here from high school. So it's kind of interesting looking back and seeing my notes and kind of my predictions on what was going to happen in the story. And I did watch the movie right after I finished this. And, I thought the movie did a really good job sticking to the book. Of course, there are some things that are changed. That's with any book to movie adaptations. There are going to be some things that are changed. But for the most part, I think it stuck to the book fairly well, and I really did enjoy the movie. And this is actually the movie cover. So you can see Keira Knightley, who plays Cecilia, and I forget what actor this is that plays Robbie. I forget his name. But as you can see, it's the movie cover. The next book that I'll show you guys is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is one that I had to read for my book club, and I really did not enjoy this one very much. I gave it 2.5 stars. I do have a full review of Ready Player One, so I will leave that link down below, and you guys can check it out. But like I said, I really didn't enjoy this one that much, but you can check out my full thoughts in my review down below. The next one I'll show you guys is Uninvited by Lisa Turkhurst. And this one says, live and loved when you feel less than, left out, and lonely. And it's really all about rejection and, how we can handle it and get healing from it. This is a Christian nonfiction book. It was so good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so relatable, and I love the stories that Lisa shares about her life and times when she's felt rejected, and there's just so much in here that you can relate to, and I totally recommend this. This was and this ended up being on my top 10 books of 2016. This was one of my favorites in 2016, and I finished it in December. I read a little bit of it every day since I started. I started it I think mid-November, and I finished it in December, I think mid-December. So it took me about a month, but I was reading one chapter a day and then taking notes and journaling as well, because there's just so much in here and it's so good. Definitely recommend this one. So the next one that I'll show you guys is The Darkest Corners by Cara Thomas. And this is it's a mystery, YA mystery / psychological thriller. And this one is about a girl named Tessa, which I love the name Tessa. But it's about a girl named Tessa who returns home, and her best friend Callie, when they were younger, they were witnesses to a murder, her best friend's cousin's murder, and so they pretty much helped the cops put away the guy that, at the time they thought was the killer. But now, later on, Tessa returns back to that town, and the murders start happening again, and she starts to think that, we probably got the wrong person, the wrong guy, and the real killer is still out there somewhere. And so this one I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it as I read it, and I, read it pretty quickly, but I don't know, to me, most of it, or especially towards the end, it really felt like a Lifetime movie that you were watching. I can totally picture this if it ever became a movie. I can totally picture this as a movie they'd play on Lifetime. And there's nothing wrong with Lifetime movies, but it's just not what I was expecting. There were some twists and turns towards the end of the book that was really interesting, and I was not expecting them. They took me by surprise. But overall, I don't know. I feel like overall the story isn't all that memorable, at least to me. I feel like it's not a story that I'm going to remember a long time from now. It just didn't stick with me, and I didn't really connect with the characters, and yeah. But I mean, it wasn't bad. Like I said, I could totally see it as a Lifetime movie, which, nothing wrong with Lifetime movies. But yeah, gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I have to show you guys, and the heaviest one as well, is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is the 5th book in the Harry Potter series. So I've been rereading Harry Potter since 2015. I started rereading them, and I've been rereading this 5th one since forever. I think it was like a year rereading this one because I kept putting it down, picking it up, putting it down. I finally finished it in December because that was my goal. I said I was going to finish it in 2016 before the end of the year, and I did. And this is actually the longest book in the series. Of course, I love Harry Potter. I love all the books. So, of course, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Just being back in this world, I just love being back in this world. I love the characters so much. And it's so funny. It reminds me of, there's so much nostalgia from the series. And it reminded me how much I totally hate Umbridge. But also of how well J.K. Rowling writes villains. Like, I mean, I know Umbridge technically isn't a villain, but you can see her as a villain because I freaking hate her. And I know so many people hate her, and so I'm in good company, but like, so many people are like, she's worse than Voldemort, which she is. I totally agree. She is worse than Voldemort, and I just could not stand her at all. And yeah, but yeah, I finally finished it in December. So those are the books that I read in December, you guys. Now, moving on to the books that I am hoping to get through in January this year. And the first one I'm going to show you guys, I recently just started this, and that is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. Took off the dust jacket because I usually do that when I read my books. But yeah, this I said was my priority for 2017, and it was the first series that I was going to pick up in 2017, and yeah, I picked it up. I'm only one chapter in so far, although by the time this video goes up, I will be way further in, if not done. I might even be done with it by the time this video goes up. And then, of course, after Crown of Midnight, I'm going to pick up Air of Fire and hopefully get through the whole Throne of Glass series in January. That's kind of my goal. We'll see if it happens, but I want to, like I said, read the whole thing back to back. That was one of my goals for 2017. If you saw my 2017 Bookish Goals video, one of my goals was to read series back to back and not wait a while in between books. Otherwise, I forget a lot of details. So, yeah, as soon as I'm done with Crown of Midnight, which I probably will be by the time this video goes up, I'll be reading Air Fire, and then Queen of Shadows, and hopefully get to Empire of Storms, and hopefully even Assassin's Blade, which are the novellas. So hopefully I can get through the series in January. I'll let you know how I do. Next one that I'm going to show you guys is one that I picked for my Christian nonfiction read for January. Again, if you saw my 2017 goals video, I talked about one of my goals for 2017 is to read at least one Christian nonfiction book a month. And for January, I want to start off with The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. And I got this at the book table at my church we went through the Blessed Life series over the summer 2016. And I got the book. I haven't read it yet, but I want to read it in January this year. So, yeah, this is on my list. And then the last book for this month, I'm going to be picking out of my TBR jar, because, again, that was one of my goals for 2017, was to read a book that I picked out of my TBR jar each month this year. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's see what I end up picking. And I got book turned into a TV show. So a book that was turned into a TV show. I'm trying to think, what would that be? I was trying to think of books that have been turned into TV shows. I know there's quite a few, but most of them I don't want to start just yet or continue with just yet. So one of the ones I was thinking was, Game of Thrones. I read the first one in 2016, but I still need to continue with the series. So it's like I could read the second Game of Thrones. That would fit for this challenge. But like I said, I want to try this year to read series back to back and not have so much time in between books. Otherwise I will forget. And I'm not ready to continue with the whole Game of Thrones series back to back, because those are huge books and I'm not ready to continue with the series right now. And kind of the same thing with Outlander, because that was another one that crossed my mind. But I was like, Outlander is another big book series, and I would want to read them back to back, but there's no way I'm getting around to it right now. So then I was thinking, and then I remembered I have the first Pretty Little Liars book on my iPad, so I will probably end up reading the first Pretty Little Liars book for this challenge. And I'm okay with doing that book because I really don't plan on reading the whole series anyway. I'll probably just read that first one and that's it. Because there's like, I don't know, 14, 15 books in the series, some crazy number like that. So it's a pretty long series, and I don't plan on reading the whole series anyway. So, and I never had any intentions of reading the whole series. So, but I do have the first one on my iPad. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to read Pretty Little Liars, and that will count for my book that was turned into a TV show. So yeah. So that's it for this video, you guys. Those are my books that I read in December and what I plan on reading in January. So yeah, leave me a comment down below of what books you guys read in December and what you're planning on reading in January. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye.